All right, guys, so I've been getting a lot of questions online on how do I set my tuning plates on the Lone Star grill. And it took me a while to really learn it, to get my own method down. Now I'm gonna show you what I do. Hopefully this works for you guys, but I know for me, it didn't work at the beginning. It kind of took me a while of just moving them around and trying different temperatures. But I'm gonna show you where I start out with to try and get me an even temperature throughout. These tuning plates are just those metal pieces that are in there, and you space them out a certain way. And what that does is it helps the heat stay even throughout the pit, okay? As even as you can get it. Now, I've never gotten it to where it's like 225 all the way throughout the vertical or anything like that. But I've gotten it to where it's very stable, maybe like 225 in these two main chambers, maybe 250 in the main chambers. Sometimes I'll go at like 275 in the vertical and like 225 here on the horizontal area, okay? But I'm gonna show you what I do on these pits. So as you can see, these are my tuning plates right here, okay? These are my tuning plates right here. And so the way I get it started, I got 1, 2, 3, and let me move this back a little bit so you can see. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and number 4 back in there, okay? Now the way I do it is I start off by pushing it, the first one, all the way to the edge, okay? Now there's a little gap there, okay? This is the flange that comes down from the firebox. It's pushed all the way there, okay? And in this first one, I try to get about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, right around there. It's never gonna be perfect, guys, unless you like mark the edges, okay? But you can see this little gap, it's less than my finger. You see my finger right there? It's less than my finger, about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, okay? Then the second plate, I do about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, okay? So I can stick my fingers right in there, right? You can see my fingers right there. There's not much gap, so it's about a finger length. And I go all the way to the back, finger width, okay? So the first one, I can't get my fingers in. The second one is about my finger. You see the difference? Now the third one we're gonna do, let me just go ahead and take this completely out. Okay, good job, baby girl. Put this right here. All right, so again, there's the first one, the second one, and then the third one, the third gap right here. So the third gap, it's about 1.5 fingers, 1.5 fingers. So the first one, all the way to the edge, right? The first one is all the way to the edge, okay? That's the first plate. Then the second plate I put, it's about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. It's less than what I can put a finger. The third one, it's about 1 finger's thickness right there. See that? Okay. And then the last one, I don't know if you can see in here, but it's about 1.5 fingers. See how I can move a little bit? So those are my tuning plates right there. And that's how I have them set up. And that's the way I do it, guys. It's not always 100% perfect, but that's kind of like the basis of where I start. And for the most part, it's worked well for me. It can keep a temp at least from here to here and maybe 25 degrees, you know, less over here. So if I'm at like 250 here, it's probably gonna be 225 here. Sometimes it's between 25 to 50 degrees, you know, but this two parts are very, very linear when I do these two, okay? And hopefully I remember and get some footage later on as I'm cooking this brisket up to show you the temps and how close they are to each other. And if they aren't close to each other, it's just a little bit of movement of those tuning plates. You don't do it drastically, okay? Now, what these tuning plates do is it directs the flow of the heat. So as it comes out the chamber, well, if the plate's there, it can't come up right away, right? So if I had these plates all the way over here, it'd be super hot on this side because the heat's gonna come up right away, right? So what this does is it allows some heat to come up right here and the rest of the heat to come out over here. So since it's hotter closer to the fire, obviously, you don't want it coming up as harsh right here. So we kind of block it down a little bit. So let's say it's at 250 right here, and then the rest of the air is coming over here, the rest of the heat, you'd be about 250 right here, which means this would be about 225, give or take. You know, it's never perfect, okay? So anyway, guys, that's how I do the tuning plates. Hopefully that answers a little bit of your questions. Again, honestly, it's going to be you guys practicing with what you have. This is a good basis to start off with. If it's too hot on this side and not hot enough on this side, well then what's that telling you? Telling you there's too much heat coming this way and not enough coming up here. So you're probably going to want to open up on this side a little bit more, right? To allow more heat to come up and for it to stabilize this way, okay? Now, if it's too cold over here and way too hot over here, then you're going to want to slide your plates a little bit more this way, right? To block some of that heat, make it come this way, so that way it brings your heat a little bit this way. So that's pretty much it. It's like a little seesaw. So you just got to play with the tuning plates a little bit, guys. It's going to take some practice. It took me like 4 cooks to just kind of finally figure it out. You will see, and you should do it drastically. What the way I learned was I just drastically changed my tuning plates. I had them like really, really big gaps, right? And I was just flowing heat. And this side was super hot, right? And this side was just it wasn't cold, but it was just lower. And then what I did is I had my welding gloves and I would move my plates every so often. And I could see, okay, my temperature's going lower on this side and it's still, you know, going a little bit higher on this side. And I just watched my temperatures as I played with the tuning plates. That's how I really, really learned, was I just drastically moved them, let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, see where the temperature was. And that was just me playing around with it. And this is where I came up with what works for me and is pretty close to what Chris sent in the directions. Chris sends you some directions from Lone Star Grillz as far as how to put the tuning plates. It's pretty much this right here. At the beginning, I wasn't having luck with it and I kept trying and trying and trying. And then after a while, I ended up with this, which is pretty much what he told me to do. So if I would have just listened to his directions from the beginning, I wouldn't have had any problems. Anyway, guys, and that's pretty much it. That's the tuning plates in a nutshell. Again, you're just going to have to practice with it. You know, maybe you get a little drastic with where you move your plates and, you know, to see the heat really moving and fluctuating. But really, once you practice with it a little bit, it's going to get so much easier for you guys and you're going to be able to maintain your temps no problem.